When did I know I was trans? The word trans is not a word I've always known, of course. It hasn't existed as long as I've been alive. I never plan these things or make notes, so it's just kind of a stream of consciousness, I think, so bear with me. I think the first memory I have that is connected to gender, I was 3. I started wearing my grandfather's hat, and I told everybody to call me Sam. And I knew that I was a boy. I remember playing with the boys. I never felt comfortable around the girls because I knew I wasn't one of them. I would play football with the boys and baseball, and we'd ride our bikes and we'd build ramps and jump mattresses and play tackle football, build forts. And that's the kind of stuff I wanted to do. I would have to play with my cousins' G.I. Joes because I wasn't allowed to have them. I remember one Christmas I asked for a cowboy outfit, and my parents gave me a cowgirl outfit, and I was destroyed. I opened the box and I saw the skirt and I was livid, and I threw it away, and I went and put on some corduroys and put my holster around my cap guns around my waist and wore the I called it a cowboy shirt. My dad had this green army shirt from the reserves, and it had McBride, that's my last name, on it, and I would sneak it to school and wear it. And it wasn't just because it was my dad's, it was because it said McBride and it was a man's shirt. We had a Sadie Hawkins dance, and if you don't know what that is, you go to the dance dressed as the other gender, and I wore my dad's suit, and my cousin was there, and I have a picture of us, and we're like 13 and 14 maybe. I've told this story before, but I have a trans relative, trans man. And when I was 8, we went out to his restaurant and I saw him. And when I saw him, he was standing there in a suit with his hair slicked back. And he had really thick hands, strong hands. They were clasped in front of him. And I remember just feeling that guy's like me. And talking to my grandmother, and she said the coolest thing. She said, "We love him, he's family, not everybody is the same." And he was born female, but he lives as a man. And that never left me. That possibility, it created potential. And I just felt like I was in this body that what they couldn't see was who I was. And I didn't sound like who I was. I didn't look like who I was. I can remember always looking in the mirror and feeling detached and feeling like I was sort of like I was looking at someone else, and not wanting to admit that because that sounds crazy. But I just didn't have a connection to the person in the mirror because it was not the image that I saw. You know, it's like you feel yourself and you're looking out through these eyes, and what you're feeling is this person more like what you're seeing now, and what everyone else is seeing is someone that you're not. It's like a costume that's tossing everybody off the real deal. I never felt like a girl or female. And it's not, I guess, politically correct to say anymore. I don't know. Some people still say it. But a man trapped in a woman's body. But that's how it felt to me. And I didn't know what to call myself exactly. And then I think it was in the late 80s maybe. I was living in Atlanta. It was right before I moved to LA, I think. And I was in this bookstore in Little Five Points. And I saw a book, a photographic collection of trans men. And I saw those images, and I was struck by the possibility. I just thought, there's no way I'm ever brave enough to do that. There's no way I'm ever brave enough to admit I'm trans, risk losing family and friends, and I thought I'd be ostracized, and I was in the lesbian world, and that's where I stayed for many years. And every now and then I would see a trans person, or I would meet someone and find out that they were a trans man, and I was just so envious of their life. How they could just be themselves was a dream come true, and I thought, I'll never have that. And then as I started getting closer to 50, I started realizing that it's now or never. I've said this before, but I was watching myself age, and I was looking like the female members of my family, my grandmother or my aunt, and it was horrifying. I didn't mind as much like getting older and the aging. It was that it felt like I was getting more feminine. It was awful, and I couldn't do it. I didn't want to die that way. First, I did a lot of YouTube surfing, and I watched every video Electric Dade made, and he was a big inspiration because he was growing into himself, and he had a masculinity that I related to, that reminded me of the men in my family, that he allowed me to see the potential in myself. And he was a normal, smart, together dude. He had troubles, and like everybody does, but he has a family and was taking care of business, and I admired him, and I watched a lot of videos that helped me begin to see the possibility of a happy life. And then I admitted it to my wife, and then I wrote a 5-page letter to my family, each one individually, on Kimmy's side and my side, and did my best to explain this what had been a secret all my life, something I thought I would never say. And as a result, everything has changed. I'm just blown away by how fantastic life is. I'm so tickled that I get to do this. I still can't believe it sometimes. I wake up and I think, oh my gosh, another day as myself. It's just great. And when I got the cancer diagnosis a couple of years ago, there were people in the medical field that were saying things that were terrifying, and the possibility that my life might not be as long as I had intended, and that just reinforced everything. I mean, no matter what, I wouldn't stop taking my testosterone. It was just too important to live the rest of my life growing more and more into myself. I guess that's it. Maybe I should make notes, huh? I feel like there's probably a bunch of stuff I should have talked about that I left out. But if you have any questions, of course, you can ask me. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.